Good afternoon. Thanks to every one of you for zooming in to the Alumni's fourth friendship meeting, the second of the year. It's wonderful to see all of you. The authors will be interviewed by the Alumni's Board of Directors. Solaj Mohammed, the Alumni's Treasurer, and Maureen Massicott, the Alumni's Secretary. Now we're going to have our second interview. Maureen, as interviewer, now it's all yours.
Hi, Rosalind.
Hi, Maureen. It's good to see you here.
Good to
Thanks
see
for
you
inviting me
too.
on this panel.
Thank you for taking part in our first panel of authors interview.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Well, let us begin by reading a little about you.
Okay.
Best-selling author, Oceans of Thoughts. Rosalind Severin McLean has been known for her profound and most inspiring writing style. Her impressive work in poetry has claimed excellent reviews from her many audiences, both local and international. Not only has she participated in open mic events and written editions in newspaper articles to showcase her work, but she is also an exemplary performer in the arts, dance, and culture. Her natural gift as an author was recognized from childhood, but now, as a senior, she has decided to publish book one of her Oceans of Thoughts series. Well known for her thought-provoking and expressive poetry, this author continues to shine with her play on words and expressive language that will evoke profound emotions from her readers. She reaches the core by masterfully enhancing all senses while bringing her story to life. Miss McLean has always kept her culture of her beautiful homeland island alive through her extensive career in the arts, dance, and music, which she uses to captivate all the colors, whether dark and gloomy or vibrant and celebratory. You feel it. She connects with her readers by addressing real-world dilemmas, including loss, growing up in the Caribbean, family struggles, and much more. Her work is touched by gentle elements of surprise, raw emotion, kissed by an eloquence of style. Oceans of Thoughts is a must-read for all generations. Born in the Commonwealth of Dominica, Miss McLean lives with her daughter, Malty, in Queens, New York. Oceans of Thoughts. Let us talk about your book, Rosalind. It is a bestseller on Amazon. What makes this poem stand out?
Well, thank you for the beautiful introduction. Oceans of Thoughts is written through inspiration. Okay, it's an inspirational walk through the inner self, life, and history. There's a lot of history in there. What makes it stand out? The book is written to penetrate the reader. In other words, I'm writing from the core of my life experiences that relates to everyone. So everyone reading this material here, whether they're a child, I say child, maybe 12 years old, all through to seniors, can relate to my work. And I think that's what it is that has captivated the reader or the audiences for my work.
Rosalind, I have been going through this book since I got it. And I came across a poem about Yvonne.
Oh, my sister, yes.
Yes, I'm going to read a little in this poem. Sweet cooing, it's Yvonne, she came. You gently sat on the iron rail, delightfully cooing. Right across from my window, you cooed and waited, and cooed and waited. You cooed for quite a while. We followed your sweet cooing and looked for you through the large sunny windows. That bright and beautiful morning, we hustled from window to window, my daughter and I, to get a glimpse of you. And there you were, sitting and patiently waiting, and cooing heartily across on the iron rail, staring directly through my window until you saw that I saw you. Oh yes, it's Yvonne, she came. You knew that I would have called you whilst on the earthly sphere. So in the midst, with an angelic purpose, you visited my window. Mysteriously beautiful little dove with divine ability. You gracefully cooed, pearly, piercing bright eyes. You let me know that you were still there. And then you fluttered and you flew away to the transparent blue heavens path. On this gorgeous, crispy, sunny morning on May 21st, 2019, at 8 o'clock, all signs of amazing wonders, all signs of favorable presence, all signs of heart-fulfilling blessings, all signs of divine bliss, all signs of divine consciousness, all signs of divine wisdom, all signs of great OM. Oh yes, it's Yvonne. She came, peace. What was your relationship with Yvonne?
Yvonne and I were very close. She was like my best sister. We were like sister glue. In one of my poems, I spoke about that too. Yvonne, especially with my poetry and my work, Yvonne was always there. You know, she was the one I could just call, you know, and send her my work to know if it's good. When I would feel that maybe it's not good enough, she would say, yes, it's good enough. Nothing is wrong with your work. What are you going to do with it? You know, she's like my right hand. It's just amazing how life is. Your right hand just becomes a void, you know, and you're left with that space. You're left with the spirit. And you're left to listen to know when it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So writing this poem, did it help you cope with the loss?
I had, I'll put it this way. I kind of operate on a different realm, on the spiritual realm. And I've been doing that for many, many years. So I look at it as, you know, she took flight, you know, she took flight to the open air. I mean, it's a loss for the humans, but in the spirit it's not. And to me, she's right there. That day she came, I know it was she who came, because the night before I was just talking about her, thinking about her something, and I heard that fluttering at the window, that constant fluttering. And I, you know, like as if it kept on until I became aware. And then I got up, you know, the whole experience unfolded. It was, yeah, it just unfolded. And she was
really
coming for a long time. She kept coming in different ways, and you know. So yeah, it's an experience, you know. It's an inspirational journey. And this is what I transcend into my book, into my work. I transcend the journey, whatever journey I go through, I'm going through, or I experience, is going to be in there. In, you know, it's going to come through. And then the reader it relates to them. So it feels
Yes,
like they
it
get an
does.
experience.
Yes, yes. A lot of people, going through loss,
Yes.
and reading this poem will help them.
A lot of people have related to me. They have called or text or send messages that, they feel, they see themselves in this work. They lost their sister, whoever they lost, and it helped them. That's the purpose of my writing, to help whoever is reading. And it has done its work,
It's
it has done
yes,
its work.
that surely does. It does it. It did its work, and it's doing its work too. So you have other family members who do they support you in your
Well,
writing?
family, well, they support in any way they want. I put it that way. But I'm going to talk about my father. From the time I was a child, he was the one who always told me I was good enough. When I thought I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't doing well in school, or whatever the story is, he was always there. He never thought that I wasn't good enough. He never thought anything else. And he always said to me, one day, one day. It's just that one day he's here, but he's here in spirit. So, I remember when I did my modeling school in Dominica. Francine was a part of that, and I would write speeches. Daddy was the one who corrected my tone of voice, the way I spoke. If I pronounced in a word that wasn't correct, as far as he was concerned, and he would stay in his room and he would yell out the correction, and then I'll just follow whatever he says. So that alone, was a good source of motivation
Yeah,
and
support.
encouragement coming from him. He was
Yes,
the head. So knowing that
yes.
he was a part of that journey, and I did not even realize it until, later on in time, I started writing some work, doing some, more and more work. And I realized, Daddy was the one who actually pushed me, you know, not even realizing. That is the better part of it. You don't realize,
Yeah.
you know.
So, well, my next question, I wanted to ask you who motivated or inspired. Like all of us have people who have inspired us to be something, to do something. But who was your biggest motivator?
My biggest motivator,
Yes. Who was your biggest supporter? Who really, really was there for you, who motivated you?
okay. I never looked at anyone as an inspiration to inspire me, because as a child growing up, I was never good enough in anybody's eyes. So no matter what I did, how I did it, if I didn't do it or did it, it was never good enough. So I motivated myself, I should say. I can always look at my father being there and doing all what he did, and being there for us, being the strong man. I can always say, Daddy. But when I actually started writing, I never anyone. I had myself. I had the spirit. I had the inspiration. I had the heavenly spirit. You know, that was there. That's who gave me my work. My work came from that inspiration. My work came from that. There's no actual explanation as to where it came from, because I didn't go to school. I don't have any,
So you would say, like some people, like the naysayers would, they are the one, like people would say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. But the naysayers, so you were motivated by all this
or yeah,
negative.
I have my experiences,
Uh-huh.
my work, all my
Mhm.
all my work in poetry from years I've been writing. It's through my experiences, it's through my life experiences,
Yeah.
to the core, how it touched me, how it affected me, whether it affected me good, whether it affected me bad. And usually it's always on the negative. So I wrote, I've been writing, and that I used to tell people, I'm going to write. I says, I'm going to write. When I write, my book will sell. You know, I always to say that, but you don't, not realizing the impact of that, So it's my life experiences that's in there.
Yeah.
Yvonne, it was a life experience.
Yeah.
Every one of my work in the book is a life experience. but then you see yourself in it.
Yes.
It's going to touch you. It's going to hit that core. For some, you know, and that's, as I tell people, when they ask me, I said, I didn't choose to do poetry. Poetry chose me. That's why it clicked. I
Wow.
cannot choose that. You know, the
amazing.
way for me, I cannot choose that. You know, I tried to brush it off and try to do novel style. It didn't click that way. It clicks through the poetry.
For poetry.
Yeah. So that, you know, I didn't choose to write it. It chose me to write it, to write about it. And that's what's been happening, you know.
That's amazing.
That's what's been happening.
Well, Rosalind, some people may think like success is measured by wealth, by how high you bounce, by others, by happiness. But what does success mean to you with regards to publishing this book?
Success is a big word
Yes.
for the majority or for the masses. But to me, the success of the book, the success of my work, I would say, is the way it reaches people. You know, it reaches one person, the book is successful. It touches that one person. That one person sees himself in my work. That one person is transformed from my work. You know, it has the ability, as my coach would say, it has the ability to transform people. And I see it happening. You know, I see it happening. I see people, you know, people talk to me and I see, you know, the way they react and they're, you know, to the book. You know, even before I actually published, I had some work on I had a publishing page, Oceans of Thoughts, on Facebook, and people would be sending me messages and inboxing me about what's happening with the book on them, you know. And I just said thank you, because I didn't expect, you know, you don't know what you're doing until people are telling you, giving you their reaction to it. And I think that's what the inspiration is all about. It's about reaching people. And I think that's what the inspiration is. The inspiration is a success. It's the inspiration. It's not just a book, like a school book. It can be a school, because I'm hoping that the schools, especially at home, you know, understands the value of what's in there, and they can relate to the children, because everybody's reading. I have a young girl, Kofi James' daughter. Her name is Vivian. She picked up the book and she read one of the poetry. It's on YouTube, you know. She read the one on Dominica. And she's only about 12. Yes, and she's only about 12. So it touched her, you know. Her father said that poem touched her. Yes. So yeah, so this is how I look at success, you know.
By impacting people's lives,
yeah,
inspiring them. Yes, this is good. This is good.
And yeah, it's through the work, because as I say, I don't have any high degrees. You know, I thought I would not be able to write, although I have been writing, but I thought it not be accepted because I don't have any accolades behind my name. And maybe that's why the Lord didn't allow me to get it. Because I've been to school. I mean, I got diplomas and so, but I'm talking about the higher degrees. Yeah. So I was never listened to. No, never. I mean, people, you know. So I, you know, through this work, you know, which actually came to me, you know, that's through the work.
Rosalind, this is, you know, this is a really good interview. I really enjoyed interviewing you. Some of my, the people on the panel might have a few questions for you. Francine, do you have a question for Rosalind?
Thanks for asking me, Maureen. Rosalind, I noticed when I was reading through your poems that you have been writing poems for many years. Some of them you wrote from 2012, 2017, you kept going. You know, I was just wondering, you know, what made you decide it was the time to publish those poems, you know, allowing so many of us to take the journey down memory lane?
Yes, well, you know, through the COVID and all this going on, you know, I've been working from home.
Yeah, oh, I see.
So, and you know, working from home, we do, to me, I did a lot more work working from home than if I worked in the office. So I had that, I've been in the house all the time, and my daughter said to me, Mommy, why don't you continue writing? I said to her, what am I going to do with it? Because, you know, I put it on Facebook, and, you know, I had to start pulling back because I noticed people were using it and interviewing on it like it's theirs. And yes, and, you know, it's okay that you use it, but at least see where you got it, you know? So I just said, okay. So I said, well, how am I going to put it in a book? I don't know. She said, Mommy, you know, you can find something. And I started looking on social media. I started going through the websites, and I found this guy called Donald Mitchell. I didn't know him. You know,
Okay.
and I sent him a message. He kept popping up, you know, when something kept just popping up, I would keep on going, but then he pop again. And like, to me, I was hearing little voices in my head telling me to, you know, use him, you know. So my daughter said, Mommy, well, try him. And that's what I did. So I sent him a message.
Very
I
good.
said, if you're legit, you know, if you're legit, respond.
Yes.
And 3 months later, I have a bestseller.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So COVID had some bad things, bad ways, but then indeed
I
COVID
just
brought
use
out
my
some
time.
positiveness.
Yeah,
in the
I just use my
community.
time. Yeah. But the thing is, I write late at night.
Yeah.
So, you know,
okay.
I mean, I can write at any time, but at that particular moment, you know, time with the COVID thing, I used to spend a lot of time at night, like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I'm there writing. The inspiration comes, and
Okay.
then I just go. Sometimes there's nothing will come. Sometimes there's nothing coming in you. Another time when it comes, you just have to take it. You have to go, you have to listen to when it comes, and you just go with it, you know?
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks very, very much. I
Mhm.
did enjoy reading your poems, and it took me evening and the next day. I enjoyed them. I relived my school days.
Oh,
I did recognize some of the pictures you have in the book.
okay, yes.
It reminded me of my days, and some of the young students. I recognize them, though they may have been 4 years old and 6
Oh,
or 7
yes,
years old.
yes.
I
Yeah, I have
recognize some
Raymond
of
Lawrence
them.
in there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did recognize them. Thanks ever so much.
Yes, but this
It-
actual series, because I write in
Mm,
series. I don't just write one poem. I write in
That's right.
series of poems. And
Yes.
this series was at the convent. I think it was just so timely because I was looking for pictures, and I called Dominica. I called the presbytery, I called the convent, preps, and no one knew that convent was in the old academy. And that really blew my mind. No
I
one
didn't know
knew
that.
that.
I didn't know that either.
Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness. Well,
didn't
I
go
went
to
to school at the
school
old academy.
in that location. So
Okay.
it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, you
thanks.
know,
Anyway, Rosalind, thank
yes.
you. I want to thank you so much for being part of this panel.
Oh,
And
thank you so
I
much for
am
inviting me to.
yes, I'm looking forward to reading more of your books.
Okay,
So are
thank you.
you
Yes.
planning on writing another book in the future?
Oh, yes, I have book 2 coming up in the pipes. Book 2 should be ready like in July, August. You know, it's already done. I'm just waiting to send to the book designer for the book cover to be done, and then, you know, take it from there. Yeah, because I have a lot of work. I have a lot of work, and I just decided, you know, when you write one book, you get the edge to write, to keep on going until it's all, you know, it's all put into where you want it to be. Book 2 is going to be another hitter because it's a lot of music in there, talking about a lot of music because I played in a band. And plus I
wow.
know, yeah, so it's a lot of that in there, a lot of pictures too of the band that they helped us. And well, of course, lyrical poetry, because I have the lyrical poetry in the beginning, you know. So it's quite a bit. I just, you know, thank God, I just thank the universe for giving me that inspiration to put the work down, you know, that will relate to people.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Oceans of Thoughts is very inspirational, expressive, real life poems. This book cannot be read in one shot.
No.
It's an eye opener. You have to take your time to read this book. I have been going through all the poems. Sometimes at night, I read it aloud. And it's really, really, really interesting to read this.
Thank you.
So I encourage you to get a copy on Amazon.
Yes.
Let us support our authors.
Thank you.
Let us support our alumni.
Yes.
And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you so much for inviting me to this panel, and thank you for interviewing me. I really appreciate this.